All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dallas Geek. I'm Brad. That's Mike. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, Brad. I'm good. Just living the dream, I guess, is, what we're going to talk about in this pandemic-riddled society that we live in.
I mean, in fairness, we did kind of think that life was already enough of a horror movie that it felt totally appropriate to jump straight into a classic horror movie anniversary first thing of February. So,
Would you really,
there's that.
I guess, would you really categorize this film as horror?
Horror thriller. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'd say this definitely qualifies as solid horror thriller.
I think that's fair.
I mean, you got the death, you got the blood and gore, you have, well, all the fun things.
Is that the fun things? Okay.
Yeah. And of course, there is always the line. It puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
See, that's not fair because I can't
I can't
finish that quote, which isn't fair.
Well, in fairness, I can't even do the quote I really wanted to do with the dance because, we gotta stay at least PG-13.
You could do that. You could do the Family Guy version. Would you do me? I'd do me. I'd do me so.
Anyway, if you guys can't figure it out already, we are talking about the amazing, the groundbreaking, the Silence of the Lambs. Which, we do have to say even though everybody just calls it Silence of the Lambs, because, I mean, the is there, even if we all prefer to forget it, But,
yeah.
Anyway, before we jump too deep into this, the necessary shilling. So, guys, if this is your first time joining us, thank you so much for that. Please do not forget, if you have not already, to... well, I guess...
You good?
Minor technical difficulty, but we got this. Okay, here we go. Don't forget to like and follow us over on Facebook, to like and subscribe over on YouTube, and if you want to check out more of our content but do not have time for the videos, you can always get the audio of all of our interviews and live shows, and now special audio exclusives over on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and which one did I forget? Spotify.
No.
Because, we are all the places, all the time, just for you.
So, Brad, really quick. So I Googled the character of Buffalo Bill.
Did you not realize who he was?
No. And I clicked on the Wikipedia entry for him. What do you think the picture is that they have for his Wikipedia entry?
Oh, it's got to be the dance.
Yep.
Is it robe fully open?
Yep.
Yes.
I was like, I wonder. Let me see something. Oh, holy shit. Yep. They did. That's on Wikipedia that literally anybody can access.
Thank you, Internet.
Right?
And we're just going to go ahead and address the fact that apparently we're having some very odd technical difficulties over on YouTube right now. Apparently,
Shocker.
Mike, They are just seeing your forehead.
My forehead?
Apparently. I cannot tell you why, but it's a
Who's
thing.
watching on YouTube?
Apparently. We had somebody like 2 seconds ago, but apparently your forehead's not bringing in the views. Mike, you're failing us.
Who left a comment?
Oh, nobody. I just happened to look down.
Oh. Whatever. My forehead looks pretty, damn it.
Just keep looking forward. You know, you can see the eyes, so you know, just make that eye contact.
So should I just do the rest of the video like this then?
No, you need to do the what was it? What do they call it? The was it the Kubrick or the Orwell villain look? Whatever the TikTok challenge was called right now, where you do the down look and look straight for the
I don't
look.
I don't have a TikTok, so I wouldn't know because I don't let Chinese malware on my phone.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Papa Trump tried to warn us. He tried to warn everybody.
But with that, let's go ahead and dive into it. The Silence of the Lambs. We are now at the 30th anniversary. And
kind of
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like 30 years, that's... we're getting old.
Yeah. I do have to say, going back and rewatching it and some of the early reviews for it, I think the back and forth between Siskel and Ebert arguing over this movie may be one of my favorite things. Just hearing the two of them just go at each other's throats about whether this movie was brilliant or a piece of garbage and overly exploitive. That's amazing.
It's interesting, I guess. So I'm assuming, did one of them only take that stance, or did both of them take that stance that it was an exploited piece of garbage?
It was, Siskel took the opinion that this was garbage, that it was just exploitive, did not really feel very suspenseful, was just trying to cash in on the pain of women. And Ebert said that it was a fun, terrifying movie that he enjoyed and thought it was going to be a bit underrated. Yeah.
So it was exploiting. It was exploiting and cashing in on the pain of women with a female protagonist.
I mean, 1991.
I guess.
I mean, I do have to say the brilliance that they had creating the character of Buffalo Bill as an amalgamation of three real-life serial killers was actually a very smart thing for them to do. It was...
Well,
I liked it. And looking back, it does... Like, I can see the similarities in that creepy factor because of what I know of real life.
Well, remember, the movie's based off the book, which, if I remember right, the book came out pretty quick to the movie's release, right? Like, the book had maybe only been out for a couple years before it was adapted into a movie. Like, I don't feel like it was a long time between
the
book being published and... I want to say it was like maybe the mid-'80s?
The book came out in 88, the movie was 91.
91, so that's like... That's a really quick turnaround for an adaptation for a novel. Like, novel
Especially
gets released 3 years later. Yeah. Like, I almost want to say, like, you're probably working on a screenplay adaptation while you're writing the book.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really quick turnaround for, which is actually kind of unheard of, now that I think about it. But that's a 3-year turnaround from novel to film. But yeah, like, I think there's so much that gets lost in comparison to what Anthony Hopkins brought to the table, right?
Yeah.
Like, Buffalo Bill is a seriously effed up character, and that's an amazing, amazing job that was done in that film. Like, even Jodie Foster was really good. Like, Ted Levine was really... I think the best... Everybody was...
Well, I think the best comparison I've heard about the two characters was Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal showed that monsters can be human, and it was Buffalo Bill's character that showed that humans can be truly monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and it's such an interesting, like, study of the human psyche and everything too, and like, just the fact that, like, oh, we've got to catch this serial killer. Let me reach out to another serial killer to help me out here, and like, just kind of like Hannibal Lecter walking her through the mind of a serial killer and how they, and like the science behind it. Like, you think that it's just he's a really demented, disturbed person that doesn't everything, but then you're like, no, like, he's, as absolutely horrifying as it is like, he is thinking shit through step by step by step, which is even more horrifying.
Oh yeah.
When you actually think about it,
looking
this
back,
isn't a guy that's...
Well, looking back, movies didn't really have this kind of dynamic. You know, it was a much more traditional. If the cops are going after the bad guy, the cops are consulting with the cops, and you know, maybe an informant here and there. But it was very what you would expect. In the thriller aspect would come in the dynamics between the hero and villain. But when you're comparing to reality, and the fact that the FBI really did put together the serial killer profiles by interviewing serial killers exactly like this, it had a very... This was almost ahead of its time in what the public was willing to accept as, you know, a true concept as far as they were concerned.
Yeah, and you look at it nowadays, right? Because you have shows like Criminal Minds and like stuff like that, where it's like they have entire teams at like the FBI and that kind of stuff that profile, you know, the more kind of disturbing and outrageous cases and everything like that. Like, that kind of stuff was thought to be unheard of back in the day. Like, even more so to a point where, like, I don't know when the FBI actually put together like a profiler or like teams to actually specifically go after. Yeah. So I mean, you're only what, about
in the 70s, and it was initially a 2-guy team that built into, you know, a full department.
Right, but I mean, like, you're only like, what, basically a decade removed from that being created when this book is written.
Yeah.
So like, this is still when the book was written, it was very much
pretty new science.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, actually, Netflix has a really good show that they've done 2 seasons of that really shows that early process. I mean, they take liberties for, you know, obvious reasons, but Mindhunters, really good. Jonathan Groff and I'm forgetting what the other lead's name is, but they do a really good job at showing you that. And if you've seen The Silence of the Lambs and you watch that, you will see so many similarities in between the show and the dynamics you get between Clarice and Hannibal, that it really does make it extra creepy for you watching it back after the fact.
Right. And that's you know, this was also at a time, and I mean, I guess almost also at a time, but like, this was the 90s, right? We're just coming out of the Reagan 80s, and like, there's so much, you know, about the war on crime and all of this fun stuff, and you know, the MPAA and the ESRB are being started up around this time. So in terms of like, excuse me, sorry, in terms of like the kind of content that you're actually seeing, like this was pretty graphic even for that, in terms of like actually diving into like the horrors of the mind and the horrors of what the mind can kind of create, if that makes sense. Like not from a supernatural or a spiritual or any, but like just how demented the human mind can be.
Yeah. No, it really goes in, and I mean, you do have a point there that it is really easy to forget about how truly creepy and amazingly well done the Buffalo Bill scenes were when you can get so easily caught up in the Hannibal Clarice scenes. They're so... I don't really want to say catchy, but it feels like one of the more appropriate ways to describe it. It's those scenes in the movie that just grab you and hold on to you because it's just so freaky.
Well, like, and so it's also a really interesting study in that, like, Buffalo Bill is very demented, right? Like, he's sick, twisted, does awful, horrible things to people, but he's still in technically a clear state of mind doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And what's even more horrifying is the fact that who's the person that they're going to help for, or help from, I guess would be. Who are they going to for help? There we go. If I can English, Jesus. It is another person that is of sound mind and totally coherent, knows what he's doing, but is arguably an even sicker person than Buffalo Bill. Yeah.
And he just covers it up very well with the fact that he actually has manners, and most of his more dramatic outbursts are focused on the people he considers to be rude and uncultured. And I mean...
So he eats them.
Eats them, or in the case of the guy in the cell next to him, convinces him to swallow his own tongue.
Yeah,
for
which
reasons I can't really disagree with.
That's
but
fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
No,
but like if
I still think it is really weird that before Anthony Hopkins had been pegged to do the role of Hannibal Lecter, the original first choice was Sean Connery.
Yeah, that would have been...
Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, that feels like it would have been such a miss of a movie using those two, or really anybody other than Anthony Hopkins and... oh, crap.
Jodie Foster.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, what's the line? I ate his liver with a nice Chianti. That's the line, right?
Yeah, it's a census worker once tested me, so I ate his liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti, which, you know, we can squabble all day over the mispronunciation of Chianti, but whatever.
Right, but I'm just more so than anything like picture that line with a heavy Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Shit, now I kind of want to hear it.
Well, you know, Cinemaflix actually did their little thing on Silence of the Lambs a while back. You know, the 9 things you didn't know about the Silence of the Lambs, and when they got to that part of the behind the scenes, their what was it? Their thing, their little joke was, I just liver with some fava beans and something, like literally just something.
Something. Yes.
Because, I mean...
Can't you talk with your gun on your mouth?
Honestly, can you see...
Oh, no, wait, wrong movie.
Sean Connery taking this real seriously?
Yeah. No, and that's kind of why I wish it would have happened.
Now, I could see Sean Connery pulling off Buffalo Bill. That I would pay money to see.
It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
You know, sometimes you just gotta use a little backhand.
Hey, sometimes... Well, I'm not going to say that because I'm going to quote something else from that Barbara Walters interview, but probably get taken way out of context.
I mean, if you think about it, Buffalo Bill might not have been too much of a stretch for Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I mean...
Starting to think that maybe the character was based on Sean Connery.
After that leather bikini, I feel like the dance and the threats and everything would have just kind of fallen in line with him, and the only thing out of the ordinary for Sean Connery to be seen doing would be sewing skin together into clothes.
Yeah, because, you know, naturally,
sure.
What's not normal about that?
Nah.
But I mean, you want to talk about too, I guess, kind of the lasting impact of this movie. Best director, best actor, best picture, and best actress all in a leading role. And let's not forget, this movie is classified as a horror movie. I don't know if I would say it's a horror. I'd say it's more psychological thriller. You can say that psychological thriller falls under the horror umbrella. All that. What's the last anything close to a horror movie that won Best Picture at the Academy Awards? It was this.
Yeah. And keep in mind, it also won Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yep. Oh, thank you. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, the writing, the directing, the acting, all phenomenal. This was a movie that all of the best things that could have happened to it just fell into place. And I mean, even as a cinema fan, you can go back and look at all of the little Easter eggs that were put in there, the different cameos for the creators, the other major actors, other people that just wanted to be involved in this because it was freaking Silence of the Lambs. I mean, George A. Romero was in this movie, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I always argue that Scream is responsible for the resurgence and the revival and pretty much the survival of the modern day slasher. Like, I don't know if you have the boom of psychological thrillers in the late 90s, early 2000s without this.
Yeah, no, I think you are very onto that.
And like, I don't necessarily know. Like, I don't know if a guy like M. Night Shyamalan doesn't have a career because of a film like this. Because I don't know if anybody takes a chance on The Sixth Sense being turned into a film, if not for the success that this movie had less than a decade before.
Well, and the other thing you have to remember is so many thrillers and so many horror movies both took pieces of this movie as inspiration for some of their best scenes or some of the what are now considered just normal tropes of both genres.
Yeah.
I mean,
excuse me.
It encompassed so many things that while a lot of it had been done before, none of it had quite been done to this level before, and this put a whole new twist on so many of the storytelling tropes that they used that just revolutionized how people saw them.
Yeah, look, I think you're 100% right on that. Like, I think there's probably like, I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head, but God, I would say that there's probably at least 50 movies that you could say took influence or inspiration from this film. Like, easily.
Well, how many movies or TV shows alone ended up coming after this and took the Clarice Hannibal interview trope as either a normal thing that they would do or just as, like, the center point of their stories?
Yeah, well, I mean, well, also look at it from
had been done
these
before,
characters
but
in
never
general.
like this.
Yeah, well, like, also, too, look at it from just the aspect of how many, like, TV shows or movies have been based on these characters.
Yeah.
Hannibal Rising, Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs, the Hannibal TV show, Red Dragon, they're now doing a Clarice TV show, I think, if I remember seeing that right.
Dear Lord, I hope not.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. I might be wrong. Keep talking, I'll look it up real quick.
Yep, you are correct.
Am I? Yeah, look at that.
CBS.
Yeah, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Isn't that weird? Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon, the Hannibal TV series, Clarice. Yeah, like there's...
And, I mean, the book did have a series it belonged to. And, I mean, the books themselves were really well done. I mean, sometimes it would get a little gimmicky, but
yeah,
there was
Red Dragon,
lot
Silence of the
good
Lambs,
things done
Hannibal,
with them.
Hannibal Rising, they're all based off of film, based off of movies, or, I'm sorry, books.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think... I think this... I think there's so much about this movie that can still be considered underrated today, because it's so easy to look over how many things this movie has influenced. And, I mean, just 30 years later, I mean, we still see TV shows and movies quoting this all over the place.
Or like just the fact that like you basically have the archetype now of the Clarice Starling, and the Hannibal Lecter character. Like there are entire TV shows and movies that base this around that archetype.
So yeah, no, I think we've more or less covered everything that we can about this without actually going in and dissecting individual scenes. But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie already, do yourself a favor, go see it. Even if you're not a horror movie fan or you just don't really like these kind of really creepy psychological thrillers, it's worth seeing at least once just because there are so many levels to it that it's just so good. But seriously, go see it. This is a movie that is going to continue to last in the great movies of, well, all time, honestly.
Yeah, like this will go down as like one of the most influential pieces of cinema. And like you can look it up real quick. Is this one of the films that's been preserved at the Library of Congress?
I feel like it has, yeah. And the answer is yes.
Nice. Good
well,
job, me.
Technically,
hey, thanks,
it
me.
is to be preserved. Wait. Checking the date on that. Yes, back in 2011.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
inducted back in
so
2011. Yeah.
On the 20th anniversary. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, look, this is easily one of the most influential films of.
And it's in the Criterion Collection.
Oh, damn. Okay, yeah. So this is one of those films that if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. Order it, buy it, do whatever the hell you have to do. I mean, it's 2021. You can find it on anything, I'm sure. Just prepare to be skeeved out and prepare to be very, very, very uncomfortable while you're watching it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But guys, with that, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And just like we said at the beginning of the show, if this is your first time watching, please do not forget to like and follow us over on Facebook, to like and subscribe over on YouTube, and if you want to check out more of our content but don't always have time for the videos, you can catch the audio of our live streams, interviews, and now our audio exclusive shows over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and Stitcher. So
might want to give them that parental advisory warning now before they go listen to the audio only.
Yes, so the audio only episodes, which come out every Thursday, yeah, those are very much uncensored and yeah, not for children.
No,
still the same nerdy stuff, just a lot more cursing. A lot.
And Brad, before you do your normal sign off, can we talk about something that we may have coming up soon? Do you want to talk about that now?
Which
Wait,
something? Is it the thing coming up in a couple
something
weeks,
that'll be happening here.
Or
I'm sorry?
is it the thing coming up in a couple weeks, or is it the other thing?
What other thing are you talking about?
Your special project.
No. Sorry, the thing in a couple weeks.
Okay. Yes. So
Go ahead and start pimping it up now.
might as well. Yeah. So yes. Here coming up on February 17th. That is Wednesday the 17th at 5 p.m. We are currently scheduled to be making yet another live appearance over at Madness Games and Comics over in Plano. We're going to be having another sit down, this time with either one or both of the Chris's that started the store, and it is going to be awesome. So we will continue to put out more stuff about it, but as before, please remember, if you're going to come check us out live, mask mandates are still in place because, Texas. But also, social distancing in the store is required, and please be safe. You'll still be able to see us live online. We would love to have some of you show up, and of course, introduce you to the store if you have not already been to Madness before. But we don't really need people crowding in.
Well, let's put it this way. If you guys do decide to show up in person, we would greatly appreciate it. And Brad will also give every person that shows up there $5 and a big open mouth kiss.
Two of the three things that he just said are complete flat-out lies. I'll let you guess.
Which ones are they?
But guys, seriously, thank you so much. Do not forget to let us know down in the comments if you've seen it, what you thought about it, and what your favorite scene was. But until next time.
And also answer this question: would you do me?
I'd do me. But guys, seriously, thank you so much.
Actually, I'm sorry. One more question in the comments below. Who did the dance better? Buffalo Bill or Jay from Jay and Silent Bob?
Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob.
Correct. Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob. Yes. Who did the dance better?
With that, guys, thank you so much. As always, I'm Brad. That's Mike. We're Dallas Geek. And stay safe, guys.